Karan Johar, Bhumi Pednekar, you're of course here in Berlin as part of the Indian delegation. What does that role involve? Now you've been here, this is your second day here in Berlin. What does that role involve?
I think it's been quite exciting. Bhumi, me, and we have some prolific filmmakers, Shaji Karun, Janu Barua, and of course we have Vani Tripathi at the INB ministry presence. I think just to basically talk about the fact that India is open for business when it comes to film, it comes to filming, when it comes to the reach and collaborating. We've had some really strong successes in the recent past with films like Lunchbox that have done such exceptional work, that have done such exceptional business even in Europe, and that was a collaboration endeavor. And also just the fact that our cinema is really going all over the place. I think the communication of that is very essential. I think we tend to be in our, in our film fraternity, we tend to be a little insular.
Right.
A better way of saying it, full of ourselves. And I think that we need
and pleased with what we can
do. Very pleased and with where we are and what we do. And I think it's very integral that we go out there and tell the world that listen, India is a beautiful land. Come film with us, collaborate with us, engage with us, because we are open to that kind of collaboration. We can't do that sitting in our own space.
Sure.
So I think festivals such as Berlin and Cannes and Toronto and basically taking our cinema global, these are endeavors, and I'm very happy that the INB ministry have taken this kind of agenda to kind of do that.
Bhumi, what's been your experience? Your first time in Berlin, isn't it?
Yes, actually, it's been a great honor, being on this delegation with such names. We have Janu sir, who's won 12 national awards, Shaji sir, who's such an overachiever, Karan. It's been quite it's been a very, very, very good experience. I'm just 3 films old, and I was a little surprised when I was invited, and I said, yeah, sure, why not?
In fact, today I spoke about Bhumi when we were at this interaction, and I said that Bhumi in many ways represents the face of new age content.
True.
Because you see the film she's done, Dam Laga Ke Haisha, which talked about body shaming, heartland issues even related to what our perceptions are, Toilet, which was talking about sanitation issues, and of course erectile dysfunction, which is also an issue that has
thought-provoking all different ways.
And I think she, whether I think she planned it or strategized it, but definitely was brave enough to do it. So I think this is also very essential to communicate that we have actors like Bhumi who are taking those leaps, those giant leaps, and actually doing stuff that is kind of fun. And right now Bhumi is freezing because while she's doing new age content, some things don't change when it comes to mainstream ladies. No matter how cold, they want to look good and not covered up.
Yeah, I decided not to take a jacket because I think this beautiful outfit.
See, that's the difference. That's the difference between a hard-nailed critic and a movie actor.
All layered up.
He's all bundled up, and you're not.
But I also feel that globally people need to know that our audiences have changed. Today we have filmmakers that are ready to take a risk, and we have an audience to go watch these films.
True.
The definition of commercial cinema has drastically changed
That's
in
right.
India. We have such stories of spirit. We have stories that actually have a universal appeal. Be it any of the films that have done well over the last few years. Be it Piku, be it the kind of issues that our country per se, or the issues that we are dealing with. These are global issues, and I think it's an amazing time for good talent to flourish, and I guess that's why we are here. And the kind of films that Karan does, the new age cinema, the way his films have redefined relationships, and Kapoor and Sons being one of my most favorite films ever, and I think that's why we are here, and I'm really grateful that...
I mean, if you think about it, when she talks about it, that we've talked about like sanitation, menstrual issues, we've talked about like homosexuality. We've actually in the last couple of years have taken on social subjects and given it a mainstream slant. And I think more power to actors who actually do that.
Karan, does this make you nostalgic? You were here 8 years ago when My Name is Khan opened the Berlinale, right here at the Palace.
It actually made me exceptionally nostalgic because it was the funniest experience and the most tragic experience, both coupled into one. Because we were going through a really tough time releasing the film back home. We had some kind of issues. We were combating, and Shah Rukh, Kajal and me were walking the red carpet. And that afternoon, I had the funniest experience, which I have to share with you. So at the Berlinale, they do this photo op. They put up the maker and the actors up in huge portraits, portraits up there. And I was shooting for it in the afternoon with a German photographer. And I walked in, and it was like Shah Rukh was coming up next, and then Kajal. And I walked in, and he's like, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes." but you know, you have to move your camera because my left profile is better. So he moved. Then he was like, okay, and he moved. And then he said, I said, your light is too low. Top light works better for me. So he was on a bit of a spring. He put his light up, and then he looked very flummoxed. And I said, can I see the photograph? And I saw it, and I did all this, and I left. Then Shahrukh walked in. And he said, your lead actor is a real diva. And Shahrukh was like, huh? I'm the lead actor. He's saying, then who was that? He's saying, that's the filmmaker who thinks he's a diva. So I will always remember Berlin for the fact that it was the most amazing red carpet experience I've ever had. A kilometer long of German fans screaming for Shahrukh and Kajol. And I hopped along the ride. And then coming here and seeing the exhilarating reaction, it was like, I can't tell you what it feels like to be back to Berlin.
Shahrukh, of course, is very, very big in Germany.
He can't walk
Everywhere.
the streets.
Yeah.
He can't. I mean, his global impact is now known. But in Germany, they are just crazy about it.
You know, I was here one year at the Friedrichstraße, the other big location, when Dawn 2 premiered here. And Shahrukh actually didn't make it in time he missed his flight, the flight that the others took, in time for the beginning of the film. He actually arrived after. It was like about 3.5 hours later. And the crowd didn't go back. It was freezing below minus 3-4 degrees, and the crowd was freezing, but they were there till the end, made sure.
But I have to tell you, and because we're in Berlin, it's like an entire circle complete, Rajeev. I have to tell you, I was at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, the year 2002 that Devdas actually premiered.
That's right.
And my father and me were at the Cannes market, like, you know, like two shopkeepers sitting, ki koi aa jao, hamari picture khareed lo kind of vibe. And he made me sit there for 9 days, and I was like so upset with my father, ki koi nahi aa raha. Like literally nobody used to come. One gentleman called Stefan came, who was one of our leading German distributors. He bought Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham for $5,000.
Wow.
And nobody realizes that my father unfortunately didn't live to see the impact. But actually the real phenomena of our success in Europe with our mainstream started with that one sale. And I remember Papa passed away in 2004, and in the year 2005 or 6, I remember Shahrukh calling me from Frankfurt airport. He's like, Karan, something is wrong, because people are just staring at me. Like, he said, I started getting scared, why are they staring at me? And then he realizes it's because we released Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham in France as La Famille Indienne and as the Indian family in Germany, and actually they became huge fans of his post, and then started following his trajectory. And he says, they're chasing me at Frankfurt airport, what is happening? I said, I don't know. And then we realized it was because of the film. We had no clue, and it was quite magnetic that, you know, that impacted. So for me, Germany has a deeper resonance than just
I chatted with Amir Khan the year that Amir was on the jury of the Berlinale, and we walked these very streets. It got crazy. I mean, you know, I've intentionally invited you here in the morning so that we don't get mobbed and it doesn't get crazy. But that evening with Amir, it was crazy. But Bhumi, I want to ask you, does it feel, you know, are you excited to be an actor at this time in this, in this phase of
definitely.
Hindi
I
cinema?
don't think I would have existed if this phase wouldn't have happened. You know? I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that my films have been a part of this change that we've been wanting in our cinema for so long, and I feel extremely happy that you know, these characters have come my way, and I know that these characters are gonna live on forever. There can't be a Sandhya again. There wouldn't be a film made on toilet again, hopefully, because, you know, most of these issues would be dealt with. And and I really hope, and you know, the thing is, the kind of, I strongly feel that the power has gone back to our writers and directors. You know, so it's really good, because now you're purely a part of a creative process. There's no adulterated
but is there a part of you that wants to be a dharma heroine, that wants to be also part of the mainstream Messiah movie?
I was just telling her, I was like, you know, you gotta be, actually I shouldn't say it, it'll sound all wrong, but I said, you know, you gotta get out of like just doing heartland stories, like, you know, and but I have to say,
better than
and that's exactly what I told him. I said,
by perception. Like, nobody gives me credit for any of the real true stories that I've tried to tell. But I have to tell you, but I didn't direct it, I produced it, but I want to tell you that will always remain one of our prouder pieces of work. Shakun Batras is exceptional, but Bhumi has done such good work. Even her short film with Zoya, which no one has seen, she's amazing in that film. So well done on those exciting choices.
You know, and I want to ask both.
Will Dharma fire you soon?
Yes, please.
You know, Newton screened at the Berlinale last year, and right here, I remember chatting with the team, with Rajkumar Rao and Pankaj Tripathi, and of course the director Amit Masurkar. Now, you know, that was a film that actually broke out. It became India's official entry to the Oscars. It got a lot of eyeballs. It's a film that broke out. But there's a lot of independent cinema that gets screened at festivals but does not get distribution. What is the route for them, and is that going to change? Do you feel like the landscape will change? Do you feel like there will be opportunities?
I think that it really depends on the narrative. Like, I think films that actually, some films genuinely, I think, deserve a wider audience, and they have to be seen by the right people who can put their force behind it. Like, like say how when Lunchbox happened, I mean, it was something that I truly believed in. I saw the film at Cannes and I was like, this film's going to do well. And at that time, nobody thought that it would do 22 crores of business nationally. That is what it did. It was a tiny film, no one had heard of it. It was just so loved in the critic circles that it needed to be platformed. Now, similarly, I wish that there were studios and filmmakers who would put their might, like Anand Rai is doing it. Anand Rai is doing it, and in my own tiny way, I've done it. And I think more filmmakers should actually empower good content, strike relationships with multiplex chains so that they can actually give showcasing, because it's all about that. The problem with us is that we have limited number of screens, so we can't do multiple releases. At the moment you have that big ass film that comes, it kind of squashes all over everything else, and you lose the screens. When you lose screen capacity, how do you catch that film?
Exactly.
So that's the problem. So it has to be in conjunction with the exhibition, and I think PVR does actually go all out in trying to, like Sanjeev is here as well for PVR, sourcing content and just looking for stuff, and I think that's great. Some endeavors have to be made, I think, in that direction. But yes, like you said, films need to kind of be platformed for it to be viewed. I think today, in an age of excessive communication, you've got to scream out loud if you have a good product.
Bhumi, how are you going to use the success that you've had? I mean, last year you had 2 big hits. You're on Forbes 30 under 30 list. You were on, you were nominated for all the awards last year. You were on our Actresses Roundtable last year. How are you going to use this power, this influence that you've had to be able to perhaps tell the kind of stories that need that kind of...
I think consciously, just by being a part of good content and good stories, this is all you can do as an actor, right? Whatever scripts I get, I think without being enamored by all the other perks that can come by doing a commercial film, I think if I just stay true to the fact that I want to do a good character, a good story, a film that will impact people, that will change a mindset. That does not mean that I only want to do socially relevant films. But again, I keep coming back to Kapoor and Sons or an Ae Dil Hai Mushkil for that matter. Like, these films truly talk about what a new age family setup is like, what a new age relationship is like. And I think the only way I can not corrupt myself and make sure that the ecosystem around me stays clean is by being a part of good films.
You're now doing, of course, Abhishek Chaube's film, Sone Chidiya.
Son Chidiya.
Son Chidiya, lovely. Finally, to the both of you, what is the plan in Berlin? I know it's it's just a very short trip. Are you going to catch any films perhaps? Are you going to hit the food trucks? There's some very good food trucks after.
Food trucks?
Yes.
So I think we should do that after this,
Maybe that's what we should do. Any chance of actually being able to, or are these just very quick trips? And
It's a 2-day trip for, I think, both of us. I think we had some engagement yesterday at the European Film Market. Today again in the morning we started off by a long 2-hour informal chat with many people from the exhibition distribution circles of Europe, and now we're going to go back to some media, some meetings, some interactions. So by the time we have done with the day, I think unfortunately we won't have time to catch too many films or any film at all. But I think it's the idea is to kind of make sure that we keep the momentum going and the communication going. So all I'm doing is collecting visiting cards and giving email addresses, and hopefully that communication will be,
and posing for lots of selfies, I'm guessing.
Yes, we've just started.
Some of that just comes with the territory. I told you my German experience 8 years ago, so some things haven't changed.
Sure. Well, all the best. Have a great time while you're here in Berlin. And perhaps next time we'll watch some films here.
Yeah, perhaps next time we will.
But
thank you, Rajeev, for being my festival friend.
Thank you.
We've been together in so many of them.
We've chatted everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Thank you.